Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of what you're currently working on in Harlem and in Crenshaw?
Yeah. So what you're referencing in terms of what's underway for Harlem in New York and then also Crenshaw in LA is this model that we're testing around how do we show up in a deeper way in urban communities, in a way that's relevant to those communities, where we can support in a sustainable way what's happening in those communities. How we got there was that a few years ago, when we were looking at our philanthropic programs, we have a great program that's called the Youth Action Grants Program. It supports young people to take action of issues of concern to them in their local communities. It's a valued program and it inspires entrepreneurialism and innovation. But during the tough economic times that the country and other countries are facing, we really began to grapple with, is there a particular role that we need to play around economic recovery in local communities? And through conversations with a couple of key nonprofit leaders, some of what started to come up for us was that those nonprofit leaders said that they would love to see Starbucks be innovative and thoughtful around providing them a continuous revenue source. What they said to us was during the tough economic times, that's when they're hardest hit with donations and contributions coming to them. But it's also the time that when they're in the greatest need because they're providing the supportive and social services for those most in need. So there's that irony that doesn't support what they need to deliver on in terms of the work. So we sat down with a few nonprofits and we came up with this business partnership model that really provides a continuous revenue source for these organizations, and it's something that we're testing. So what it is, in Harlem, we're working with Abyssinian Development Corporation. It's a multi-service organization that's responsible for managing 3 public schools there. They actually have a family shelter, they have a Head Start program, and then we also looked in the Crenshaw neighborhood in LA, and the LA Urban League is responsible for doing similar things for a 70-block radius in LA. So we thought that those 2 organizations had the intellect, the aptitude to really work with us, be honest with us, be thoughtful with us, to develop what this model might look like. The reason why we selected the LA Urban League as a partner in this is that they have come up with a very holistic model for interrupting the cycle of poverty. And what that model is that to really truly get at changing someone's economic situation, you got to affect their education. To affect education, you just can't go in and work in the schools, because what you got to be mindful of is what are the issues that prevents a child from showing up and learning in the school. One of the most disheartening things that I had heard when I was in LA a couple of years ago and talking with Blair was that there were kids who were actually literally elementary school age kids who were pocket checked on the way to school, meaning that gang members would come and take their lunch money. I can't imagine showing up in a classroom being prepared to learn if someone just took your lunch money. So what Blair has come up with is this holistic model where their organization addresses healthcare issues, safety issues, housing issues, and employment issues to make certain that families and young people can actually learn effectively in that community.
That program then, how does it specifically work?
We are calling these community stores. The principle behind it is we really want to deepen the connection that these stores have in those local communities. One element of it is the profit sharing. So we're looking at sharing 50% of our profits from each of the 2 stores with the individual nonprofit organizations that we've identified in Harlem and in LA. There's a learning piece that we've asked the nonprofits to help us with, and working with the people who run those local businesses. So the nonprofits are responsible for sitting down on a regular basis with the store manager and with others who are running that local business to really help them understand the politics, the issues, the nuances of that community to make certain that that's an effective business. We also are with them in community service, where we have the expectation that they will identify for us strategic ways for our employees to engage with them and providing community service with them. And in terms of driving traffic to the store, what's clear and transparent on this whole piece is that as that store becomes more profitable, they actually receive more dollars from the store itself. And so it behooves them to help drive traffic to the store.
It's for their interest, yeah.
And so we've worked with them on a couple of elements, a couple of strategies to help them drive traffic for the store. But what we want to do is really look at this 18-month model with the metrics and outcomes that we've actually designed for this to be able to replicate this to many more stores across the U.S. and around the world.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time and answering our questions.
Thanks, Mick.